You're watching today's Money TV show. Join top innovators, investors, and business leaders as they share insights for success in today's fast-paced economy.
Welcome to today's Money TV show, where we explore the dynamic world of finance, investment, and business growth. Join us as we uncover the latest trends, interview industry leaders, and provide actionable insight to help you navigate and thrive through today's ever-evolving economic landscape. Let's dive in and discover how you can make your money work for you. We've got a great show today. We have an expert in AI, Mr. Curt Doty. AI Mania has taken over. Hey, Curt, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful. Curt, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. So, Curt, tell us a little bit about what you and your company do.
Yeah. So, first off, I'm a brander and a marketer, primarily in entertainment, and have been focused on product development and technology the past 15 years. With the rise in AI, I started a new consultancy, Realm IQ, where we focus on education and evangelism of AI for companies and universities.
Okay, that's exciting. So that's not just anybody can do this kind of stuff, right?
Well, I mean, it was a race a year and a half ago. Everybody became an AI expert, and I was wondering, well, what are they experts at? But I've tried to leverage my vast experience and have used AI to make great stuff with my normal course of business. So I
Okay.
think I'm an expert to begin with, and then now I've incorporated AI into my practice.
It's only getting better, right?
Yeah.
Curt, if our audience is watching somebody, whether they're an entrepreneur or if they're a novice or an expert, how would someone get into the AI industry?
Yeah, well, let's focus on getting started with generative AI specifically. This is the largest use case and has been getting the most press, if you haven't noticed. But I would start with a program like ChatGPT. There's a free version, and you can learn the language of prompting. And in that effort, you treat the software like an assistant and ask it to do things for you, summarize articles, do research, write a blog, create a picture. Try to play with purpose, though, so you're achieving a goal in your personal or business life. If you start here, you'll build excitement and confidence to explore other platforms and challenges.
Okay. And I believe there's more than one platform. You've got Meta that's got one, you got Google that's got one. I believe iPhone is dropped their autonomous driving platform and actually have gotten into AI and is talking to different partnerships or trying to create their own. I think they realize that they're behind. So which one would you suggest? Is there one better than the other?
Well, they're all different. And the fact is, you need to start somewhere. I made my recommendation. But what you'll find in using any platform, you're not going to get the results that you may want. And so that means then try the next platform and hopefully subscribe for free until you like that platform. But the idea of what I call platform hopping is really crucial because what you'll do out of that experience is create a unique workflow for yourself and find the best platform for whatever outcome that you would like. So it's hard for me to recommend just one. I'm agnostic. I have built my own platform.
No liabilities there and no
Liability.
loyalties, Kurt. Come on.
No, I just have my different workflows, but I continue to experiment with all these new platforms that are coming out.
Right.
And so, it's exciting to play around. And again, I try to do it with purpose, with a real assignment for my work. So I think it's crucial not to just think that there is a one-stop shop.
Sure, sure. And Kurt, for someone that wants to get into AI and how they feel is the best for them, whether it's a on a creative basis as an individual or company, what kind of investment are you looking at? In 1,000 free, 10,000 millions? What are you thinking?
Well, I'll try to unpack that. But the first question is, What is it that you want to do with AI? Act as a consumer, a creator, or create your own product?
Right.
For a consumer using it at home or work, it's practically free, assuming you have a computer or a smartphone. And your company, if you're an employee, has an AI policy that's highly likely not to have been instituted yet.
Sure.
But whether you are AI literate or not, you may want to take advantage of the myriad of AI courses on YouTube and LinkedIn, and they may cost you, but try to get your boss to pay if you can. For
Yeah.
for a creator, uh, there's a dearth of creators now using AI. You will need a lot of software. As yet, there are few one-stop shops that solve all the problems. But that is the goal of many new startups, is being multimodal within one service. So if you are demoing or podcasting, you will need hardware as well, a good mic, a light kit, and additional platform subscriptions to manage, produce, and amplify your content. This could be a few $1,000s. Education and training is still important. Continuous learning is crucial. But now let's go to if you wanted to create your own AI product. Investments will be based on a few things. First of all, developing your unique AI use case scenario.
And what, Curt, what do you mean AI product? Are you saying a creative platform? Are
Well,
you
yeah, I mean,
saying
there could be a service.
software?
But basically, we call it a vertical SaaS. So vertical software as a service, meaning you're trying to tackle one specific problem powered by AI with a certain business case, the problem to solve, and you have that solution.
Okay.
So once you've kind of narrowed that down, that use case, which is very important because a lot of people, there's a lot of simultaneity in the market. So you think you may have an original idea, but you don't.
Right.
So you gotta find that original use case, and then what are you basing your data on? What are you training your data on? That's an important.
And who's coming to the market first with it? Are you going to develop it and come out and have a weak version, but you're at the market first, or are you going to come something with a stronger version, but you're the third guy that's coming on the market?
Well, it's not paying to go to market first these days. It's important to watch other people start and fail and pick up the pieces and figure out what they did wrong so that
That's
you
good
can do
advice.
something right. So just back to that bare minimum. At the bare minimum, it's going to cost you $150,000 US dollars investment. But let's talk more about data sets. So the critical question is, will you build on existing big tech LLMs like OpenAI, or create your own narrow small language model? And this latter approach is costly. R&D can cost millions. If it costs billions for the big tech companies, it could cost you millions. Infrastructure,
Pocket change. Pocket
yeah,
change.
infrastructure, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Regulatory compliance involving lawyers, again, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you might get sued. So you got to be prepared for that.
They're always making the most money, aren't they?
They are, yes. And then on top of that, marketing costs could be as low as 50K, or it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars based on your marketing plan.
Okay.
But there is a recent example, Project Indus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Out of India, they built their own LLM for under 5 million in under 5 months. So OpenAI's founder Sam Altman said it couldn't be done, but he also said that a solopreneur using his platform could be a one-person billion-dollar company. So it is the Wild West out there.
Anything's possible. Anything's
And
possible.
it's important to be informed. That's
Right.
what we're trying to do every day with Realm IQ.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's educate yourself first, know what you're trying to get into, what you're trying to get into, and how everything's working, and then start looking at what level of business and finance that you have to be able to get into this industry. Does that sound
Yeah.
about right?
Yep. And likely it's difficult to bootstrap just based on that outline of costs that I talked about. So you're going to need to find some investment, whether it's from angels or early seed money to help you, because it is going to cost a lot of money.
Okay. All right. Curt, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or your company and get some more great advice, how would they do it?
They would go to realmiq.com. There we have a list of our workshops that we give. We also have a podcast, Realm IQ Sessions, where we talk with AI leaders and AI founders and talk about the issues, both positive and negative, around AI. Again, that educational component is very important to our mission. So please visit our website and get in contact with me, and I'd love to chat.
Wonderful. And we're going to have you back on the show again and pick at your brain for what's going to happen next with AI because it's changing daily, monthly, weekly, right?
Absolutely, and happy to be here today and in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time, Curt. Our next guest is Tommy Sikes. He is bringing everyone new attention to Europe to buy a house for €1. That's right, €1. So let's see what that's all about. Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Hugh. How are you?
Good, my friend. Good. Tommy, you're from traveltirement.com. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell us what traveltirement.com is.
Well, Travel Retirement is a passion project of mine. My wife and I, our last child of three children, was getting ready to head off to college this fall, actually. And a couple of years ago, I started dreaming about what we might do when we're empty nesters. So I started researching. We love travel in Europe. So we started researching ways to travel affordably, but for longer periods of time. That led me to discovering the incredibly affordable real estate that you can find. And my two favorite countries are Italy and France. And a lot of Americans are shocked to find out that there are some incredibly affordable properties there, including €1 homes.
Yeah, especially nowadays with the way that real estate has just gone crazy in the US. So now you said €1, which I know, I believe right now the euro is like for every $1, it's like 0.98 euros. And, the switching back and forth, a few pennies off and on. Um, is that really true? Is it really €1?
It is. It's not a scam. It's not a gotcha. There are a lot of caveats with that, though, I'll go through a couple of them with you if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, €1 is the starting price. Typically, these houses are in southern Italy. Um, Italy has had a huge migration of people out of southern Italy and out of smaller towns to either the north of Italy, where there's more employment, or to other parts of Europe, because the Eurozone, people are able to move freely. These small towns that have lost a lot of population, to attract people back, have worked to offer these homes for €1. It's typically an auction, though, so the price starts at €1, and
Uh,
then depending on how many people are betting on it, it may go up, into a few hundred, a few thousand euros. Not always. I mean, you can legitimately get one for €1, if there are no other bidders. Another caveat is there are always requirements with purchasing one of these properties. Typically, that means within a certain amount of time, maybe a year or two, the purchaser has to spend up to a certain amount to renovate the property. These aren't like fully renovated, move into ready, furnished places. These are, a lot of them are pretty rough. But if have dreamed of owning a place in Italy, particularly in southern Italy, you have some budget to do some renovation. And when I say budget, I've seen people spend €20,000, €50,000. Way, obviously, you can go way up from there. But with that kind of budget, you can get typically a very nicely renovated, livable. It's going to be relatively small. It's not like a big 3,000 U.S. house, 3,000 square foot U.S. house.
right.
But with that kind of budget, you can legitimately own a place in Italy.
Now, do you have to live there while you're renovating, or do you have to spend time at this home? Or is it a situation where you can buy it, you can renovate it, do it into an Airbnb, rent it to someone else? What's that kind of situation?
It depends on the individual municipality. They may put restrictions on the type of residence you can turn it into. But I'll just say in general, there are no restrictions on Americans buying property in Italy. Like, you don't You don't have to become a citizen. You don't even have to become a full-time resident. Um, the immigration and the property purchase are separate things. So you could absolutely, again, you'd want to find out the details from the municipality where you're buying this, but find out what those details are and potentially turn it into an Airbnb.
Okay. I had a friend of mine actually bought a complete village in Italy, and she started out. She's a winemaker. Started out as a vineyard, and kind of built up in there. Started creating a whole economic system. People started working, and then now she's actually become a destination. The village, we're talking an entire city, has become a destination for wine, and people come to visit. It's been really amazing what she's done with it. And she literally, I mean, pennies on the dollar for what she actually put in for that village.
Yeah, it's
So,
incredible, and again, people need to understand that these places with the €1 homes and some of these other tax benefits, which we can talk about in a minute, the reason to do this is to draw foreigners in, to come spend money, buy a property, spend the money renovating the property, spend your dollars, your tourism dollars locally, and also, again, for every person that comes in, there's somebody else who's thinking, oh, well, they did it. Maybe I can do it too. And so they want to rejuvenate these areas. And of course, southern Italy in particular is gorgeous: mountains, beaches, rolling hills, vineyards, olives, all the
no,
stuff
it's
that
great.
people know about Italy.
So let me ask you this. So let's get into the nitty gritty of the taxes. Now, Americans, wherever they live, have to pay taxes. This is one of the things IRS requires. Now, and I know that there is certain tax advantages of living abroad in these cities that you're mentioning. What are the tax liabilities and advantages of living abroad?
Well, I'll point out a couple of different what's called tax regimes in Italy. The most popular right now is what's called the 7% flat tax regime. There are 8 regions of southern Italy and some also in some individual towns in some other regions where if you move as an American and become a tax resident of a town that has 20,000 people or less in it, you can then pay a flat 7% tax on all your worldwide income in Italy. So that means your Social Security, pension incomes,
Wow.
investment incomes, even if you had, were passively maybe owning a business in the United States and getting that income,
Okay.
all of that can be included, and you literally pay just a flat 7% tax.
So what happens in the U.S.?
So in the US, you would get a tax credit for that 7% that's paid in Italy on your 1040. There is a form just for foreign tax credit. And so, as long as your US tax liability was not over the 7%, then you would not owe anything additional to the United States. However,
Okay.
if you did owe more in the United States, you would just have to pay the difference.
Okay. So what happens if someone says, "Hey, you know what? I love living in Italy, or I love living in France. I'm in this tax shelter situation. I want to become a Italian citizen." Um, does that mean that basically that eliminates the U.S. tax liability, and they're paying 7%, and that's it?
Unfortunately, no. And United States is one of the few countries in the world that taxes by citizenship, not residency. So, for example, an Italian citizen who does not reside in Italy, maybe they live in the United States or some other country of the world,
Right.
they don't pay any income tax in Italy if they're not residing there. The United States, unfortunately, taxes by citizenship, which means if even if I'm an Italian citizen, if I have an Italian passport and a US passport, I'm still going to owe in the United States. You still have to file and pay. Now, as I said before, you may not actually owe anything if your tax liability in the country you're living is higher or close to what you would have paid in the United States. It's going to be a wash. So they
Got it.
try to eliminate double taxation.
Okay, I got it. I got it. But I mean, ultimately, you're going to get a beautiful home in Europe and in southern Italy or France. for much cheaper than what you would have gotten here. And what a great place to retire to. So I have to ask you, which is better, France or Italy?
Well, it really depends. Obviously, a lot of Americans, I think I read there are way more Italian Americans than there are even Italians. So
Okay.
there are a lot of people in the United States who have family connections, parents, grandparents, great grandparents in Italy, so they have, a natural pull to Italy.
Okay.
I will say from my research, um, Italy is cheaper overall. Cost of living is a little cheaper, particularly again in the southern parts of the country. Real estate's also going to be cheaper. France, on the other hand, also very affordable as long as you get away from Paris. So, southwestern part of the country, southeastern, as long as you're not right on the what they call the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Um, and then it really comes down to personal preference. Do you speak, did you take French in high school? Maybe it's going to be easier for you to relearn a language. Um, they both have great geographies. They both have incredible wines. So then it can really come down to personal preference and obviously what your budget is.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to get going here, Tommy, but I hope to have you back again next time. Maybe we can take a look at some of these houses and get an idea of what these things look like and take a deeper dive.
Absolutely. I'd love to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Have a great
That's a wrap for this episode of today's Money TV show. We're grateful to have you with us as we navigate the ever-changing landscape of finance, investment, travel, technology, and business growth. But don't forget, subscribe, share, and follow us on social media to stay updated with our latest content. Your journey to financial empowerment continues here. Until our next episode, stay curious, stay informed, and keep thriving. I'm your host, Hugh Knight.